Today we find ourselves at the start of the second week of the Africa Eco Race after a well-deserved rest in Dakhla. And for the sixth stage we are racing into Mauritania. As promised, a dramatic change in scenery, time for the sand. Today's total distance, 211 kilometres between Boulanoir and Chamy. Today the bikes were fast, really fast. They rode at over 100 kilometres an hour over the windswept Mauritanian course. Simone Igazzi was fifth today, but the hardest part for him was getting up at 3 in the morning in order to get to the border in plenty of time. It was a hot and very windy day and it made the Russian rider Agushkov smile. It was very interesting, he told us on arrival. It went by really quickly and he was happy with his fourth place. A sentiment echoed by Paul Anders Olavalseter. The two-time winner was thrilled to be back in the landscapes he absolutely loves. He finished third today, but as we know he has no further chance of reaching the podium. Regardless, he hasn't lost his sense of humour on the eve of the marathon stage.
I hope the next two stages is so hard so almost nobody come to the finish.
Just ahead of Olavalseter in today's rankings is Paolo Cecchi. He found the stage very similar to the first day in Mauritania last year. He didn't take any risk today and knows that the race could be won or lost in the next 2 days. We will have to pay attention. We'll have to ride without pushing the bike too hard. Make no mistakes and not crash. We will really have to take care. The fastest of the day was this man, Luis Oliveira. He wins in 1 hour, 50 minutes and 26 seconds. This was his first Africa Eco Race stage win at only 25 years old. The talented young Portuguese rider still has a bit to learn about riding in the desert, but he has a bright future ahead. This is my first time in Mauritania. I took off a bit towards the end of the stage, after overtaking the other two. After that, I stayed behind. I crossed the dunes without any trouble. It was not a difficult day for me. A quick look at the day's results and the first stage victory for Luis Oliveira. He came in 2 minutes and 12 seconds ahead of Cecchi and 4:14 ahead of Olavalseter. Agushkov, Agazzi and the young Norwegian Helmersen complete the top 6. A look at the leaderboard, and Cecchi remains on top with a comfortable lead of 56 minutes 48 seconds over Oliveira. The rest remain unchanged: Rui, Oliveira, Benko, Blackburn and Ram. Doing the rally raid is not just about the driving. It's about the camaraderie. It's about the shared adventure and the atmosphere in bivouac each evening. It's also about the daily challenges and the little snapshots of beauty. The long miles and the dark moments are quickly forgotten. The Africa Eco Race is the perfect proving ground for this shared passion, and some drivers have chosen to do this on board an SSV or side-by-side vehicle. This is the DVR team's Can-Am X3. It's a Canadian vehicle, prepared especially for the rally raid by BTR. The biggest modification was in the chassis to make it race-worthy. The chassis is regulated by the FFSA. We also changed the shock absorbers to a Canadian brand. The whole bodywork was redone in carbon fibre. The secret to these vehicles is, in order to be fast, they have to be light. And the big challenge is to get as close to the regulation minimum weight as possible. It needs to be 850 kilos to perform well. It has the engine of a Skidoo, a Rotax, a 3-cylinder 900 cubic centimetre turbo that gives us about 180 horsepower. In our case, we have the original engine, which is easily enough for our needs in this rally.
sur le rallye raid. Voilà, après une ligne d'échappement.
We carry all the standard equipment, a sand shovel and ramps.
L'appel de désensablage, les plaques. Sachant
This type of vehicle is really speedy in the dunes, so all being well, we shouldn't ever need to get the shovel out.
Normalement, on ne doit pas sortir l'appel sur ce type de véhicule. On n'a pas de boîte à vitesse
There
sur
is
ce
no
véhicule.
gearbox on these vehicles.
Donc,
It works with a belt drive, which gives us top speeds of about 140 kilometers an hour.
On roule avec une
We use the
navigation de
motorbike
moto.
navigation
Ça,
system,
c'est
but that's quite
spécifique à notre
particular to
équipage.
us because we come from a bike background.
L'historique fait qu'on est issu de la moto, donc moi je roule avec ma femme copilote.
My wife is my co-pilot, so we use the motorbike nav system. And since we have no windscreen, we operate the same as the bikes.
Configuration qu'une moto. On va essayer
The
d'emmener
plan is to get right to the
ce
end.
véhicule au bout.
We're
On est
about
à un
a
tiers
third of the
course.
way through,
Ça
and
se
the two
passe
team cars are running
particulièrement bien
well.
pour les deux voitures du
We're
team.
going to do everything we can to get both of them to
L'objectif,
Dakar
c'est d'amener
in
les
one
deux voitures
piece.
à Dakar et on va tout faire pour.
As we speak, SSV number 252 is sitting 18th in the GC with number 256 in 20th place. Talking of which, in the SSV category, today's winner was number 256, Vincent Guidani, who had a brilliant day in his dream playground. He finished 19th overall in the GC. At the other end of the scale, the fastest truck of the day was the familiar green Iveco of Gerard de Roy. Some buggies went past the Dutchman. He wasn't the fastest, but he was being careful. He finishes 12th in the stage and is planning the same careful strategy for tomorrow. The Mauritanian terrain really suits the Optimus buggies. Pascal Thomas had a great day coming in fourth, and all that remains is to tackle the big sands where he could do well. I'm really looking forward to it because it's my only chance. I have a good co-pilot, but I'm still a bit stressed about it. I wouldn't really say I like the dunes. When you get stuck in the sand for half an hour or 3/4 of an hour digging yourself out, I don't like it. At long last was the cry of relief from Guillaume Gomez at the finish line. At last, the stage podium place for the former Formula 3 driver. He is out of the overall running due to problems with his fuel supply in the first 3 days, but was at last able to battle it out with the leaders. He overtook a lot of people and even topped 200 kilometers an hour, but managed to stay safe. A bit of strategy at play today as Vasiliev eased up a bit so he wouldn't have to start first thing in the morning. It was a fast stage, but he preferred to come in second and leave tomorrow's pole position to Seradori. I admit I did drive strategically. Starting out first is not easy. Today it was a stage for big engines and we just couldn't keep up. We have less horsepower and we just couldn't stay with Mathieu. So it's Seradori and Lurcan who take the stage win for the second time in the race. At an average speed of 144 kilometers an hour, the Franco-Belgian team showed what they have under the bonnet. But they weren't born yesterday. They know fine well that their victory was a gift from the Russians. I'm not sure it was their best idea, but we had no option but to go for it. I think Vladimir kept it back a bit at the beginning of the stage. It's quite normal, it's the game. He's ahead of us and he's got a strategy, we just have to drive. At some point in the race we'll have to open the stage if we want to win. It was a leg stretch today after the rest. I'm pleased because we sorted out a few things we needed to test after rest day. It was mostly positive and now the race is very, very long. We are looking forward to the big dunes. Today's dunes were just little ones, but dangerous because they were all broken up. We can't wait for the big ones and the soft sand. It will be difficult, but one or other of us will have to come out on top. In the car truck category today, the stage win for Seradori ahead of Vasiliev and Gomez. Thomas fourth and Dominique Laure is fifth. The first T2 vehicle was Alexei Titov in 17th place. No change to the GC. Serradori claws back 2 minutes from Vasiliev, who is still on top. De Roy's truck is 5th. Something to note, there are 3 optimists in the top 6, Thomas, Vautier and Gerard. On the menu for tomorrow, something new for the Africa Eco Race. For the first time in 10 editions, they will race a marathon stage, nicknamed the 500 miles. And after finishing the 486-kilometre stage in and back to the bivouac at Chamois, the vehicles will go into a parc fermé and be untouched until the following morning. That's all for today, but before we leave you, here are the day's best images. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.